Yeah, I know my light's a little bad in this corner, but anyway, this is a Dell Inspiron M5030 that a customer dropped off and said I can have after I recovered the data off the hard drive. So I'm going to turn it over and show you the symptom, and hopefully the error means something. I think I know it does. So let me go ahead and spin this over, turn it on, and show you what it's doing. Okay, I'm going to hit the on button. Okay, we get a fan spinning. We're going to hear some tones here pretty soon. Nothing comes up on the screen. Turned off. Okay. Should get a beep, beep, beep. I hope. There you go. That's a bunch of beeps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. I got 3 last time. So it's a different kind of beep. So, okay. So let's see if we can troubleshoot this now. Okay, I have the laptop turned upside down right now. And we're going to take 2 pieces of paper. We need to make a template of where all the screws are going to go that we take out. If you look real carefully, I already took the screws out up there. But there's only 2 screws that are different than anything else, so we're going to hold that in the center. I have these, the 8 by 10 going down that way, side by side. We just need to cover the entire back of the laptop like that. Now this is really important, especially if you have a whole bunch of different screws. In this case, there's only 2 screws that are different, and I already know where they belong. But we're not going to be able to see the holes underneath, so we're going to pull this down. We know that one's up here, and there's another one right next to it. We're going to do the same on this side. One's up here, straight across, and one's on that just outer of that. I'm going to move it over to the side here, about where those are. We want to note that there's one over here. Actually, I think there's one right underneath where I just wrote. One there. Okay, there is one slightly over, so we're going to come up, and it's right above where this guy is. All we're doing is being an artist. Alright, so that's all that's right there. There's one on the bottom down here now. So where this was, there's one just about there. Make sure you have a good sharpened pencil too, because mine's not that sharp. I'm going to come straight over, and there's one right here. Straight over, there's one right here. So we're basically in line with this. There's another one right here. Okay, so now we're going to come on this side, straight up from this. So we bring this down to the level right there. Straight over on the edge, there's one right here. Now we have to go to the inside. Right above this guy, up here, across from this one, there's one right there. There's none over here so far. We're going to come up some more. Okay, none there. Come down. We have the battery right here, so we want to trace out the battery a little bit. So the battery is something like that. Right below the battery, there's one there. If I actually find a good part of the pencil, and one just slightly right there, right below it. There's one right here, so it's on the. Okay, so I'm going to draw an arrow because it's on the tape. Well, I really need a better pencil than this. On the tape, there's a hole. Okay, let's bring it down. I think we have them all. So I have all the holes. Okay, so now we're ready to take the screws out and make notes. Like the 2 short screws I have there, goes in this guy right here, and the other one goes right up over here. So that's what all the other screws fit in every place else. So that's my template. I'm going to set that aside. We're ready to get inside this thing. So I'm going to take this over. All the screws are out. I'll turn this guy over, and this is going to be a kind of a difficult shot on the camera. But I'm going to have to lower the camera and go in from this side, because this thing only lifts up so long, and I can actually bring the light down over here to show you on the inside. So let me do some rearranging. I'll bring it right back. Alright, here we are at a horizontal position. This is the monitor up here. This is the top of the computer. Now the thing is, I want to come around the camera like this. You need to pick up this way up and that way out, because the USB is on the other side over there. So we're going to pick up this side and pull it toward us to get this side to come up. You're going to hear some clicking. But we need to, and we can't pick this up too far because the cable's underneath. I'll do it. So we're trying to actually, there we go. We get that up dislodged. Now the thing is, in here, the hard drive's right here. So all you got to do, if you're going to recover the data or get the data, you're going to push this hard drive that way, and it unlocks. There's nothing else holding it down. So you take the hard drive out. Be careful you don't touch the bottom, because it's not shielded underneath. Alright, so we're going to set that hard drive upside down, because we don't have an ESD pad here or anything. So we got to be careful of that. If you look inside here, right there's a cable. Alright, and it looks like some cables, no, all the cables are connected. There's at least 3 cables, maybe 4. There's 4 cables. Alright, and they're taped to, there's one going around, probably the microphone or something, or the camera that's up on top. There's a cable over the fan way back here. There's what I call a bread cable that goes to the keyboard, and that's, my pinky is pointing to it right in there. So you have to be really careful with these, and my problem is I have such big fingers to get in there. Right now what's stopping me is there is a blue, I don't know if you can see it, but behind that, let me try bringing the camera up just a little bit. Okay, right in back of that there's a blue tab, and that's what you need to pull to get that up. And once you pull that, it should come up a little bit more to be able to get the other ones. The back one back there is very tight also. My issue here is getting these plugged back in. The part to the keyboard has to be pulled that way, away toward the monitor, and this is the computer that has those 7 beeps, and even though I let it run for 15, 20, 30 minutes, believe it or not, under a couch cushion, and it heated up and still didn't boot up afterwards. So that doesn't work with every single one of them. That's why I'm doing this, and all I really want to do is reset the memory chips, maybe pop out the processor, set it back in, and see if it all works. But this is a really pain in the rear to actually get to all this stuff, and then be able to put it back without damaging anything. So when you're doing this, be real careful. Maybe take some notes. I'm going to have to use a needle nose pliers to pull that cable out by the blue tab, and I'm going to go get one now. I'll bring you back while I'm doing it, but definitely have to be patient. Here we go now. Let's pop it up. Got my needle nose. Get it back up. It's already loose. So patience is a big virtue. Please do your best not to drop the needle nose on the motherboard. You can rest it on top of rails and stuff. I am trying to get that blue tab, and I have it. I'm going to pull up. So gentle, and it's disconnected. Now I can lift this up a little bit more. Let's see what's stopping me. I have that disconnected. What is stopping me from lifting up? Okay. Let's see. Looks like that back one. That looks like it's easy enough. I'll come over here and get this one disconnected. And that's what these tabs are on there for, is to grab and lift up. That's disconnected. I'm just hoping they're just as easy to put back in when the time comes. Alright. Now, the fun part. That big cable right there. I don't know why Dell has to make a laptop so, and it's too bad the keyboard does not punch out of this case. It's like all part of it. All right. Well, that just disconnected. Alrighty. And it did not damage it. Okay, I just pulled up a little bit and that bread cable disconnected. So all we have left, I think, and it's confirmed, is that little one in back of the CD-ROM drive. So I think I can reach in there and get that one. I don't know. There's no pull tab on it. You do not want to pull the wires. I want to use the needle nose again. I'm sorry if I'm in front of that. Trying not to be. So I'm going to try and bring this up some so you can see it. Let me reach around and wind this. Loosen that. Got to lift the camera up so you can actually see what I'm doing here. I'm going to reach down there with this. My arm's in front of the light a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to wiggle it and bring it up. And there it is. The keyboard is off. I cannot believe, I'm going to bring this around. I cannot believe that this keyboard, the whole thing is one unit. Is that crazy? That is ludicrous. It would be so easy if that keyboard popped out, but this whole thing is one unit. While you're in here, you could blow out any dust that you see around there. You know, of course, if this doesn't work, we can always salvage things. All right, but that's what I really like is the BIOS battery is actually the same as the desktop. It's 2032. So if you really think this is going to work, you can change out your battery while you're in there too. They're pretty cheap. You can get them at Walmart, any place, really cheap. Okay, that's the wireless network. That's your RAM. That's your fan for the heat sink. So you really want to make sure this is cleaned out. Take a low pressure air can. I have one over here. Okay, that's a low air pressure can you want to use. All right, or if you have a compressor in your garage or someplace, you can use that. All right, so that's long enough. I think it's everything's been discharged as far as the battery being taken out. So I'm going to reset these memory chips. You pop these two apart. It pops up. Take that out, set it aside. There's another one down here. Take that out. I wonder how big these are. 2 gig it looks like. Yep, 2 gigabytes each. It's pretty nice. If you need to upgrade another laptop, you got parts right here. Alright, so we're going to put that one back in. And the slot lines it up. And put that one back in, snaps them back in. So now we have some screws to undo. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it looks like the processor's right down there. We might have to do something with this fan too. I don't know if the fan just pops out. There is a connector for the fan. And another connector right here that goes to your monitor. That sits on top of the fan. So we need to take this out. And it looks like it's all one unit. So I'm going to unscrew those. The small Phillips head looks like that. I'm going to keep the camera running while I'm doing that. I'll bring you back. What I did is rather than disconnect the cable to the monitor, which was being stubborn anyway, I took the tape. There's tape on that sticks to the fan. I just took the tape. You don't want the tape to fold over because we need to put that on. 4 screws I had to take and loosen up. They stay intact. And this just pries right out of the way. So we're going to set this over here for now. Now is the time to clean that fan. Take it outside, spray it. Now is the time. This is a straight slot, and I don't have a straight slot with me, so I'm going to pop over and get one. And there's a screw, a flathead screw right here. You're going to loosen it counterclockwise. It unlatches very carefully. This is one item you don't want to mess up. Look underneath, no burn marks. It doesn't look like it's fried. We're reseating it. All we're doing is putting it right back in. We make sure it's seated. It's still got the stuff on top for the heatsink. Alright, and it's right there also on the heatsink. And that's another pad for this guy over here, the chipset. Alright, so now we're going to put all this back together. So we need to get, I did lock that down too. It goes clockwise to lock down. You can feel it locking down. So we're going to slide this underneath. This has to go underneath that harness. And we're going to tape up the harness again when it comes down. This sits right in and right on top of everything. So we have a heatsink that's on top of this chip, heatsink on top of this one, and then the main processor's up there. It does slide. The hole to screw in is over there, so this isn't quite sitting in right. It sure looks like it up there, so what hole? And we need to be on top of it. You can see the hole down there. I'm going to go ahead and fasten this down. The thing is, probably before you fasten it down, you want to make sure you get all your tape back on. Not on your finger, and you don't want the tape to get stuck on something else. Okay, all your tape back on this. Get this down low because the keyboard has to go back on it. And you don't want this to get in the way of anything else. This is the connector I had to disconnect. Make sure that connector for the fan goes back in and push down. I had to disconnect that to get this out. Alright, so now I'm going to screw these down. I'll bring you right back. Now you're not going to muscle them down, just where they're finger tight. Okay, all of them are finger tight. All of them is good. I'm not changing out the battery because it's easy enough to reach in there when everything's together to do that. I'm more worried about getting that cable right there plugged back in. Alright, and probably that cable right there. So one thing at a time. It's just too bad I can't just turn it on to see if I'm going to get the 7 beeps. I wonder if I could. I wonder where the button's probably on the keyboard. The power button's right there. And it does go to a connector that's right here. So the connector has to be plugged in. So I'm just wondering if I can plug in just that connector, hit the power button and see if I get the 7 beeps. That's something I'm going to try out, I think. Alright, so I'm going to try it out first and I'll bring you back. If it works, great. We'll see what happens. Okay, I want to show you that I did use the needle nose. And I grabbed the tab and I guided it down. I pushed it. When I pressed it down, I felt like a slip, like it slipped into place. So I'm going to put this back on. I'm not sure. I'm not going to press it down at all. The hard drive's still out. I'm not worried about the hard drive. My thing is I want something to come up on the screen. Anything, any kind of text, a dot, a cursor, anything. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the battery again, get the AC connector. I'm going to hit the power button. It should go to the motherboard. If I get something other than 7 beeps, that'll be great. Okay, here goes the test. Got a light in the front, right down here. Alright, so we're going to hit the power button. We got 2 lights. Got a fan. I hear a fan. Nothing on the screen yet. Still have 2 lights. I'll leave that over there so we can see if the light starts flashing like it did before. We should get no hard drive found. And probably a keyboard missing on the screen. And really nothing's happening. No beeps. No, nothing. Actually, the speaker might be disconnected. No, speaker should be on the motherboard unless it's coming through the actual speakers themselves. So we may actually be getting sound, but the speakers are disconnected when it's going to the keyboard. Well, hoping my battery's going to last and my fingers don't get in the way too much, and this light that I'm working around doesn't get in the way. I have this one still plugged in over on the far side. We don't want that to unplug. I might have to get my hands in the way to get to that white connector all the way back there. So I brought the keyboard up a little bit so I can actually raise this up because that allows us to bring it up. So I am going to try and get these connectors connected. This one gives me a lot of room here, so I'm going to slide this guy in if I can and push down. My fingers got to click. This has to sit under. This is going to be a lot of fun because there's no room to do this. As I anticipated, it's going to be a lot of fun to do because this has to sit under that piece right there that's raised, and then it has to be clamped down. And then this connector has to be put in, which are two of the biggest tricks around. So lots of patience. I have to move the light. The light's not going to do me good here. So I've got to move the light back, get it out of my way. And I still didn't do any good. So I need to bring this up some more. I still have a lot of play there, but my problem is it gives me about maybe an inch and a half to work in there. So I'm going to have to do that with the camera off for a while to get in it. But that's the goal, is to get that put in, and I don't even know about getting a tool in there to do that with. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that this has to be navigated to where you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, it has to be navigated in there, and then something reaches in there and holds that down. I don't know how the heck technicians, the Dell guys, ever created something like this. It just keeps popping out. Every time I reach for a tool or something, it keeps popping up. And this thing doesn't lock down. The channel in there does not latch onto anything. So I just don't know how. It doesn't push, doesn't do anything. It just flops up and down. Nothing broke off of it. So I just don't know what's going on. So in any case, I think I have this guy right here actually goes to the speakers. So I'm going to give it a try. Just like that. So you still see the monitor. I'm going to plug power back in. The battery's still in. And see, do we get a light up front? Let me turn this light off. We got a light up front. All right, you see it over there. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you see the other light. I'm going to turn it on. We have two lights, a fan. I'm looking for beeps. Or a missing keyboard or something like that. I think this is a dead computer. There's our beeps. 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 beeps again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it has to be a bad processor. I'm turning it off so we don't have to listen to the beeps. Alright, so a bad processor or motherboard is what it is. So it looks like I have some spare RAM chips. Nevertheless, that's how you get inside this thing. Hey, while I have it, might as well show you how to get the CD-ROM drive out. I'm just going to pull the keyboard off. This keyboard's still good, so it can be sold on eBay. And there's 2 connectors there. Let me turn the light back on. So this keyboard is good. Well, known facts. The hard drive is good because I recovered data off of it. RAM we have not tested yet, but I have other ways of testing it, other laptops and desktops. I could plug that in. Alright, battery I'm not sure of. Alright, and this guy should pop out unless there's another screw holding it in. And I think I unremoved. Oh, you know what? Haha, I found it. It is right. Let me get the tripod over here. It is right there. That's the screw that's holding it in. Okay, so I want to get that screw out, and we should be able to get the CD-ROM drive out. Alright, but notice what you have to do. You have to get this keyboard off to get that. And you saw how hard it was for me to try it with the attempt to get the keyboard. So that's how you get the CD-ROM drive out. What a pain to get inside this. So on a rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being the easiest, I would say this is 1 or 2 being the hardest to work on. Getting this cable back in the spot for the keyboard. Absolutely ridiculous in doing that. So, hey, as parts, I'm not trusting the processor at all. I could probably use this fan, sell the fan on eBay, because I know the fan still runs. The monitor, definitely. I've not seen anything come up on the monitor, but it looks easy enough to disconnect and sell on eBay. I wouldn't trust the motherboard, and I would not trust the processor, only because we don't know if they work. This wireless thing right here will work on any computer out there, but you have to go to Dell to download the drivers for the wireless. So I've already put Dell wireless into Acer, and I've put it into HP's, but you had to go to Dell.com to download the driver for this model to get it to work. Hopefully you found this somewhat helpful. Sorry I couldn't get the keyboard back on, but we did diagnose, heating, let it beep for 15-30 minutes and doing all that. It still didn't fix it, so not all the times it can be fixed, and why send it to a repair shop if you can't fix it yourself following these directions, okay? Save you a little bit of money in that area. All right, bye for now.